Howdy, everybody. Coming to you cordless from glamorous Minneapolis. It's Tuesday night, June 16th, 2026. I'm Jim Peters, and welcome to another edition of Jim Peters and Night. This is episode number 360 through 362, if you're keeping score at home. I can't talk anymore. We did a show on TikTok last night, a live show, It's like, I can't. I used to be really good at it, too. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's just age. My personal theory is I have too much stuff stuck in my head. I can't keep it straight anymore. Yeah, but I'm just probably just flattering myself, aren't I? Our guest tonight is Richard Lyons. He's an author and historian. He's written a trilogy called The DNA of Democracy, 3 books. And also, he has a new book coming out, which I didn't even know about, that they put on the screen. We've already taped the interview. It's fantastic. Great guy. Terrific. So the way this works now is that if you're on Rumble, it's coming up immediately after this monologue. If you're on YouTube, it's a separate live show that will start about 5 minutes after this one's done. That's the way it works. We're going to keep it, because I know some of you want to look at the monologues and not the interviews, and some of you want the interviews and not the monologues. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think I'm a better interviewer than monologuist, but a lot of people disagree. So that's why I started paying more attention to this. I really do. What do I know? Tomorrow night, our guest is Michael Pack, filmmaker. He's been on the show before. His new documentary is called The Lockdown Dissidents, which he made in conjunction with the Wall Street Journal. It's about the COVID-19 debacle is what that's about. Be interesting talking about that. Thursday, we have Andrew Fox. He's an author and a priest, believe it or not. And his new book is, and I love this, his new book is called Truth in the Age of Applause, How Stupidity is Ruining the American Dream. And God knows it is. I can't wait to talk to this guy. I never met him. I've never met most of the people I talked to on here. Now, we had a TikTok show last night. I said last week we're going to do them on Tuesday and Thursday. I changed my mind. We're going to do them on Monday and Wednesday and either Thursday or Friday. I haven't figured that out yet. We've had really good luck, though. On the last 2 Thursdays, we've drawn our biggest crowds. And I'm thinking we might stick to that. We might end up doing Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'd come to the conclusion we definitely have to do 3 nights a week for sure. Because, well, first of all, it's no work on my part. I basically don't have to prepare for this. I turn the camera on, I smile, I say hello to a bunch of people. They pitch me stuff and we talk, and okay, fine. That sounds great. It's an hour max. So I'm really enjoying it. It's fun, and people are showing up, and I really appreciate that. I mean, basically, we've blown up on TikTok for all practical, especially because in fact we've only been on there like 4 or 5 months. So the irony is we don't run the whole show on TikTok. We don't, but whatever. And then I have to remind you of this too, because this is really cool. We have a 24/7 channel running on YouTube now, running live. It's basically linear TV. And it's a whole bunch of interviews. We have 22 interviews in there stuck on right now. In the next couple of days, I'll probably add 10 more. I mean, we have done 362 episodes of the show. We've had at least 250 interviews. But the really cool thing is, I can't remember, starting last year, or roughly about 9 months ago, we started filming the interviews separately from the show, which we, of course, like I said, we're doing that now, like tonight. So, and the reason we're doing that, we don't do the show live anymore. I got to change all the billboards and all the platforms because, mostly because people had too much trouble connecting. They had too many technical problems, and I didn't want to bore you guys sitting through it. That's the primary reason. So now the whole thing's pre-taped, although we do it quote unquote live on tape, and there are no retakes. We don't cut it. We don't edit it. It's whatever it is. That's the way it is. And I'm surprised that more people don't do their podcasts this way. They're editing. They want it all look perfect. Oh, bullshit. It's not going to be perfect. And just stop it. All right. So what's going on today? I'll tell you what's going on today. And Richard Lyons and I talked about this kind of at length during the interview, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. And that is this thing about Barack Obama's presidential library. It's not a library. It's a center. And I found out today the reason they can't call it a library is because it's not affiliated with the National Archive System. They refused to do that because they didn't want to be told what to do. So it's not a presidential library and its papers aren't there. It's a presidential center. And it's very, very ugly. It's one of the ugliest buildings I've ever seen. It's like it's deliberately ugly. But that's not the reason I'm bringing this up. I'm bringing it up because the fact that of the finances involved in this, and I don't know why. I just thought this is just prototypical for Barack Obama's thinking. So this thing was budgeted for $300 million. It's about 100, 8, it climbed up costing about $835 million. There's supposed to be uh, a endowment for maintenance that's $400 million. There's only $1 million in there right now. They're $399 million short. And here's the real terrible part: the black-owned businesses in Chicago that they hired, the minority businesses to help build this thing, are all saying everyone's getting stiffed. That's apparently, and I mean, the Black Business Association of Chicago has come out saying that if they don't pay pretty soon, there are businesses that are going to go under because of this. That's great. Yeah, that's great thinking there, Brock. Yeah, wow, that's terrific. That's fantastic. A lot of these businesses are on the hook for millions of dollars of work, and of course, if they don't get, and I don't know, the economics of running a small business, a $2 million bill that doesn't get paid can kill you, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So our first black president, there you go. That's a great way to treat your colleagues there, man. That's wonderful. In Alaska, there's a guy running for re-election. One of the senators named Dan Sullivan. The Democratic Party in Alaska decided to counter this by running a guy against him named Dan Sullivan. Now this guy now the guy running for Senate is Dan S. Sullivan. This guy running against him is Dan J. Sullivan. And here's the amazing thing. He actually tried to get his name changed so that his middle initial was actually S. This is so this and the Elections Commission of Alaska told them no. This is fraud. They actually made this guy drop out of the race. And he had no, other than the fact he shared a name with the incumbent senator, he had no qualifications at all. He's just some guy named Dan Sullivan. That was it. So that was their idea of countering, of running, of competing against the Republican Party. Oh, Dan Sullivan is a Republican. Yeah. So and Lyons and I talk about that too. I've been saying this for many years. I anticipated this, but I did not think this would happen this quickly. And that is the Democratic Party was going to make itself obsolete. It's in they're basically all right. So what do they got? They got voting rights. They got that in the 60s. They got gay marriage. They got that about 20 years ago, and that's about it. And that's the end. They pretty much solved all the social civil problems of the United States, and they did. I will credit them. They did. It was mostly, when people say it's really true that more actual Republicans voted for the Voting Rights Acts than Democrats. All that stuff's true. But the thing is, they did actually bring this to public attention. And that's always what they were good at, pointing out problems. And I've said this many times. That's what, I'm not the only person that stresses this. We need a good two-party system to balance each other out. And they're basically done. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. It's like there's nothing going on there anymore. And I think a proof of that, I mean, this is really, I'm not the only person who's commented on this. This has been all over social media the last few days. This last weekend, the counter programming the Democrats did to the American 250 UFC fight on the White House lawn, that little dog and pony show they put together in New York City was downright pathetic. And everyone noticed. It was just pathetic how lame it was. They're singing folk songs. And this is the other thing too. And, this has been implied, but maybe someone needs to say this. The problem is it's a whole bunch of old hippies. It's people my age who never changed their political outlook, never changed with the circumstances of the times. They're still back in the 1960s, kumbaya. And they are. That's part of the problem. you know. So anyway, so gotta hand it to the Electoral Commission in Alaska for stopping this. The Democrats' idea they would run a guy with the same name against a guy against the incumbent. That was their idea. Now, Jeffrey Epstein's back in the news. The New York Times ran an article yesterday about detailing how basically he tried to kill himself. And the article's quite detailed, and basically, I think, assuming it's true, and it seems to be corroborated very well, that Epstein tried numerous times, at least 3 times, to kill himself before he succeeded, at least 3 times. And his roommates, one of them, and I'm going to get to that in a second. One of them, who's a convicted ex-cop and convicted murderer, said he was asking him for advice on how to do nooses and all sorts of stuff. And other people in the building said the same thing. But here's the thing. I've had this guy on the show named Niels Gravelius. He's a private detective from Los Angeles, actually Pasadena, California. I love Niels. He's been on the show like 5 times, I think, now in the last 3 years. He's just a fantastic conversationalist and raconteur. But he had a theory about this that I've never heard anybody else propagate. People were wondering, well, did Epstein really kill himself, or did somebody kill him? And Neil said, no, it's kind of halfway in between. He said he called it assisted suicide. And he thinks that, Niels thinks that the scenario went like this. A bunch of people talked to his cellmate, Epstein's cellmate, this guy who was an ex-cop, I can't remember his name, and said, tell Epstein that if he doesn't kill himself, we'll do it for him. And it will be much less pleasant. And so this got relayed, according to this theory, Neil's theory, this guy relayed this to Epstein, and Epstein killed himself because he'd rather do it painlessly. Because it's going to happen anyway. And that's the selling point. You're going to be dead. Are you going to be dead in a pleasant fashion or an unpleasant fashion? You know? And I have to say, this is the clearest and most plausible theory I've heard. It really is. So yeah, and it fits in with what's going on here. You know, the Kash Patel said a few weeks ago. He said, you know, the evidence was overwhelming, and then even Bongino, when he was working at the FBI, said the evidence was overwhelming that he actually did kill himself. And based on this article and the people they talked to, I'm starting to think this is true. But it does not only does it not negate Neil's theory, it actually kind of embraces it. So there you go. There you go. We figured it out. You know, oh my God. Jeez. Kristi Noem is back in the news. She now here I don't really know what this is. And so maybe I don't know. Tell me, write me and tell me or something, or comment here. She's currently now, you know, so she's no longer head of the DHS, and she got, you know, Trump removed her from that. But she was reassigned. She's currently the special envoy to the Shield of the Americas. I have no idea what that is. I don't. I think it's some sort of UN committee, I think, or something like that, you know. But anyway, she is warning about the fact that the Chinese are making a deliberate, coordinated effort to basically infiltrate the United States. They are trying to get their people in, and basically, it's the replacement theory, except instead of our Democratic Party doing it, they're doing it themselves. And she says it's their 1,000-year plan. Now, they've been very public about the fact they have a 100-year plan to take over the United States, but her contention is this is the primary way they're going to do it. They want to get people to basically immigrate here, and then clandestinely they're still tied to the Chinese government, and then I assume they get these people elected. That's the idea, because they're overwhelming the system, which is basically kind of what, in some ways, the Muslim population seems to be wanting to do in certain parts of the United States now. Now, the important thing about the Chinese, though, is that they're very, very intelligent, but they got a problem, and that is they can't create anything. That's a cultural problem on their part, because their society discourages imagination. It does. They try to gin it up in the system, but the system discourages imagination. So they can't invent anything, which is the reason they're constantly stealing our technology. But that said, once they steal it, they're fantastic at implementing it. I mean, they're really terrible. We had a plan for hypersonic missile, our U.S. military. Well, they stole it and they built the missile before we did. There you go. It's like, what do you say about that? So they're doing, and the other thing is, and even talking to Richard about this, I do hope you stick around to watch this interview. It was really good about, and this didn't come up, but it just may remind me of this, and that is the China. Oh Jesus, I lost my train of thought. God Almighty, what the hell's wrong with me? I'm old. That's what's wrong with me. The Chinese, the okay, this is what I was going to say. Democracy is very messy. It's slow and it's messy. It's very messy. The one thing totalitarianism has over democracy is you can turn on a dime. If the dictator says no, we're going to do it a different way, you're doing it a different way tomorrow. And that's the one. That's the one advantage they have on us is speed. Basically, they can do things very quickly. They can adjust very quickly. That's assuming, and of course you're assuming the guy in charge, the dictator, is of sound mind. That's not always true, but that's the thing. That's the advantage they have over us. And don't discount these people. They don't. I mean, they. We have to be constantly vigilant here because they could succeed at this. They could. So yeah, they don't have any imagination, but they don't have the messiness of our society either. So that's what they got going for them. That's what they got going on. Now this made the news too. Kind of, you probably didn't hear this, but in terms of economics and business, this is very important. The Fox Corporation that owns Fox News bought the Roku company that makes the over the top boxes for televisions for $22 billion yesterday. They own it. The Roku set-top box is the primary, it's called OTT, over the top delivery mechanism for television in the United States. There are around 100 million televisions that are connected to the internet via Roku. And if you don't have a Roku, I have 3 of them in my house. They're fantastic because you basically pay 50, 60 bucks for the box once. You never pay another subscription fee. Of course, if you want, you can hook your subscription services up to it, like Netflix, Google Television or YouTube TV or whatever you got, So it's basically a cable box, basically. But the box itself is a one-time purchase, and it works fantastic. And it's it's the dominant, for lack of a better term, operating system for televisions in America. And now Fox Corporation owns it, and Fox News, that a part of Fox Corp, owns it. It's now I've gone on here before about the fact that Fox News, that you can't at this point, you can't, whether you like it or not, you can't exaggerate their success. It's it's unbelievable. Fox News is the number 2 television network in the United States, whether it's cable or over the air. They're second to only ABC. They beat NBC and CBS quarterly regularly. And also the thing is, like for example, excuse me, Stephen Colbert got canned because his show was losing $40 million a year. He had 200 employees working on that show. The Gutfeld show on Fox News, which competes with him, has 20 employees and was getting 30% better ratings. See? So can you do a little math here, or at least a little extrapolation? So they're making way more money on the advertising than Colbert was with a tenth of the employees. That's how you run a successful business, folks. It's like that's how you do it, So I mean, and now they've got the Fox One app, which I don't know if you know anything about this. The Fox is everything the Fox Corporation, all their broadcast properties in one thing. You buy it's $30 a month, and you pay for you get everything. You get Fox News, you get both the Fox Sports channels, You get the Fox Entertainment Network, the regular Fox over-the-top TV or broadcast TV. You get everything Fox offers, Fox Business, for $30. And this is truly the death knell of cable, because now ESPN has the same. It's just called the ESPN app. It's the same thing. You spend for $30, you get access to all the ESPN channels, and also on-demand backlog too. And those are the ESPN and Fox News are basically the only thing on cable that's kicking ass. So if you can get those things off of cable, well, cable's done. Now, it'll still be around 20 years from now, like disco, but it's it was the death knell. That's over. That's on. Finally, I'm going to end tonight. This is very important that you know this. There's a woman, I know, this is called in broadcasting called a kicker, but the thing is, I love these stories. That's the thing you put at the end of the broadcast. It's kind of light. Molly Stone from the UK makes $30,000 a year, basically taunting guys online that their teams are going to lose. She makes 30 grand. So the deal is, here's the way it works. You tell her the rival of your sports team, and this is all, of course, in Britain, it's almost all football or soccer. And the reason this is in the news because of the World Cup. Her business is going nuts. And she will put on the rival's T-shirt and nothing else, and she will swear at you over the webcam and tell you you're nuts. This is really, seriously, 30 grand a month? 30 grand a month for doing that? Let's do a little math. That's $360,000 a year. And she said that's the minimum. She's probably pushing 400,000 doing this. So she makes a lot of money showing pictures of her trash, and of course her feet. I don't understand that. I still don't understand. I don't get the feet thing. I don't at all. But I know that guys are really, really into this. I don't know that. And she does the usual sex stuff, on OnlyFans and stuff. It's like, my God. But yeah, she'll bill you for putting on a rival's T-shirt and telling and swearing at you and telling you your team's they're losers. Okay, enough of me. Now, if you stick around, like I said, if you're on Rumble, the interview's coming up right after this. If you're on YouTube, it's going to be a separate live show, probably starting about 7 minutes from now. So that's what we got going on, folks. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Good night, Uncle Donnie, wherever you are. Oh, and yeah, so tomorrow night, Michael Pack's here, and we're going to talk about his new documentary about COVID. So please tune in for that. Good night, Uncle Donnie, wherever you are, and good night to you, wherever you may be. We'll see you, folks. Take care. Thanks.